Alright guys, so today I wanted to go over my ADM UIC, I'm going to call it a Mod 3 because this is probably about like the third or fourth iteration that this carbine's gone through. And I've made a couple of changes to it, and if you've watched my videos for some time, you'll have seen kind of the evolution this carbine's gone through. And it's not like that I was unhappy with some of the kit that I was running on it. It's just I decided to upgrade over time. Naturally, if you progress as a shooter, you eventually start to understand that there are a few features and things that you might be looking for that you weren't necessarily looking for in the past. And I do take the time to test out different products before I actually try to voice my opinion on them, unless I say it's my first impression on something. And I do have the ability to get behind some other things that I normally wouldn't invest my money into, like going to the range, knowing people at the range, talking to people, even if it's complete strangers, having conversations with them. And more times than not, if you want to test something out with somebody, they'll usually be happy to let you shoot something, let you look behind glass, test something out. It's actually seems to be a pretty positive community from what I can tell, in at least in my area. Don't know about yours, but everyone from beginners to even people who are a lot more knowledgeable than I am have seemed to at least want to share their experiences. And if you do shoot someone else's weapon, you know, just make sure you just stay respectful. Don't blow through their ammo or stuff. You know, maybe let them shoot yours if they want to and stuff. I found that just being a healthy gun community, it's just better, more for everybody. You know, don't stick to yourself unless that's just kind of your thing. I found that sharing information and learning more by being social in this is definitely more of a benefit than a detriment. So that's kind of how I've learned a little bit more about my weapon system in the last um, 18 months. I probably learned more in the last 18 months about carbines, about AR-15s, about about what I was looking for, about training. I've gone to a training class, and I've gone through a lot of ammo. And not to say that burning through ammo is going to teach you a whole lot, but it'll teach you something for sure. If you shoot 1,000 rounds out of your carbine, you're going to learn a lot about your weapon system. You're going to learn a lot about the recoil impulse. You're going to learn a lot about what your weapon system can do and stuff. So I do encourage you to go out to the range and at least, like, if you're going to rely on your weapon for self-defense, go ahead and test it out. See if you can run a full mag at as fast as you can pull the trigger. You might have to do that one day. Make sure you don't have any failure to ejects, failure to feeds. Make sure, if you, like, this is a aftermarket bolt carrier group that didn't come in this upper receiver. If you run stuff like a different buffer system bolt carrier group, run the shit out of it, because you want to ensure that it's going to work when you want it to work. So but this ADM UIC Mod 2, I've had for about a year now, and I've probably put about 3,500 rounds through the barrel at least. Bolt carrier group's got a different round count on it. My optic system's got a different round count, so I'm just keeping a round count for the actual barrel. And so far, the more I learn about the barrel, and I've got a better optic on this now, the better accuracy that I've been getting out of this. So this has been designed, or this ADM UIC Mod 2 with this Criterion hybrid barrel, full 16-inch barrel. It's a sub MOA rifle with 77 grain Mark 262 or match ammunition. So the ammunition that I shoot is just regular M193, M855, and also run a 50 grain VMAX 5.56 out of it as well. So With those three different types of ammunition, I've been able to get like 1.8 MOA at 200 yards, which I am perfectly okay with. At 100 yards, I can almost get this sub MOA with that ammunition type, which is really, really good. So I'm like at 1.2 MOA at like 100 yards. So um, it's been a really accurate barrel system. Been really impressed with Criterion barrels. I've been impressed with how ADM has put this upper together. The more I learn about ADM uppers and or just ADM in general, the more I'm happy that I went with an ADM UIC mod too. So I bought the lower strips and I bought the complete upper separately. So I did not buy the complete rifle system. So I kind of married the set together, but it is a full ADM build more or less. So um, things that I changed out on here. So I definitely changed out my flashlight system. My flashlight system for a long time and was an O-Light, and I was running an O-Light Warrior X, and it seemed to actually function and work just fine. The mounting wasn't great on it, but it wasn't going to come loose. It was plastic, so it might break. Whereas this mounting system, Arisaka offset M-Lock mount, Scout mount, it's much more robust. I've got a little more options. It sits closer to the rail. This Mod Light 18650 body with a PLH V2 head. It's a much better light. It's I don't know if it's actually brighter, but I've got more confidence in it. It's definitely got more spill than the Warrior X. I actually think the Warrior X has a little more throw on it. But the main thing with weapon lights, and this is the reason why I don't go with Streamlight or Surefire for my rifle light setups, is that the electronics and the heads aren't fully potted. And Mod Light, Cloud Defensive, and Arisaka / Malkoff devices, they fully pot their electronics in their heads. So I'm not entirely sure why Surefire doesn't, but I've had two Surefire lights fail on me, rifle lights fail on me. So I will never run a Surefire rifle light in my life again. I do not have confidence in them. I don't think they're good lights. I think they're underpowered. I think they're overpriced. Do not like Surefire rifle lights. So Mod Light seems to be the way to go. I like the PLH V2 heads. Just the right amount of throw and spill. Not like a huge fan of the color temperature of it. It's a little bit too cool for me. Whereas that's why I do like Surefire lights, is that their color temp is really good. It's got a nice warm color temperature, allows you to punch through photonic barriers. But this has more candela, which is nice, which allows you to punch through more photonic barriers too. And like I said, I'd like to have a good beam spread so I can see what I'm doing to my peripheral, and I like enough, throw so I can see at distance as well. So PLH V2 head seems to be the way to go. Haven't tried on an OKW, but I'm not. I don't really like that super hot, spotlight. I'm not like, if I'm trying to spot targets that far and try to engage targets that far, really, like there's something really wrong that went on in the world, and I'd rather run if I'm at that distance, right? I'm not trying to get into some sort of engagement. The only time I'm going to use this is if I have to. So that's just my thinking behind it. So decided to go with Mod Light. This is the mossy green Mod Light, so it's a little more gooch than a regular Mod Light. And one thing I noticed, it does get pelted with carbon, especially in the position that I have. Not a big deal, but if they ever have to change out anything under warranty, they're not going to give me the cool mossy green. But I went with the mossy green because I've kind of was going for like an OD green accent build on this, more or less. So that's why I chose it. I was looking at a Cloud Defensive Rain 2.0 and anodized green, but those were never in stock when I had the money. So went with Mod Light. Been super happy with Mod Light. So I tried out pressure pads and tail switches for this particular setup. I like it, but it's an expensive up cost. Like, it's like you're looking at, after like tax and shipping, Um, and you might be able to find them a little bit cheaper. It's like anywhere between $200 to $250 for this Surefire DS double aught and this Mod Light mod button. Mod buttons made by Unity. What I like about these Unity buttons over like Surefire pressure pads is that you're not going to lose a whole lot of ampage or voltage when it comes to your lighting system. So like your Surefire, I think it's like the DS07 tail switch or a pressure pad, you're going to lose about 20% of your light's output because the electronics in the pressure pad don't convert that current as well as like this Unity or Mod Light mod button made by Unity. So you're only going to lose about 5% of your light output with this Unity mod button. So that's why I went with it. It's really low profile. It's small. You only have a momentary on and off. The only thing I don't like about pressure pads is that you're more likely to have a negligent discharge with your weapon light, and that's something that you never want. So I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the pressure pad system just yet, but I went with a contingency with the DS double aught, so I'm able to utilize it with the C grip, right? So I can get by and still use the tail switch with if this came loose, broke off, got cut, if the mod button got knocked off, whatever it is, I have a contingency for it. So if you're going to run a tape switch, I do recommend these DS double aughts, and you can time it so you can get it closer to or whatever position that you want. You can fully rotate the tail cap if you want. So Surefire tail caps I really like. So that's about the only thing on like their light bodies are good too, I guess. And I'm not a big fan of their pressure pads. That's just me. So that's my light setup. So I usually run it on my light on the left side with just using the tail cap. It's worked fine for me. It'll save you a lot of money, so you don't have to put a setup like this on it. So I think people just, here's going to be my personal opinion on tail caps and tail switches. Unless you're running like nods and stuff where you're already running a bunch of pressure pads and buttons and stuff, you don't really need a pressure pad setup. I think they're way overrated for what they are. Save your money. And just get a decent light with a decent mount with the mod light. Tail caps work just fine and stuff. So went a lot into lights, but I think lights are really important. I'll go over the sling too because I think slings are really important. So I run a Magpul MS4 sling. Really good for the money. I buy them for like $50. Come with both the QDs on it. You don't really have to think about anything. Is it the best sling on the market? No, it's not. But for $50, you don't have to think about anything. Comes straight out of the box. You might have to do some adjustment on it, but you won't have to buy like sling QDs for it, and you don't have to install it and stuff like that. So I like MS4 slings. MS3 are okay. MS4s are just the way to go. You can make it a single point to 2 point. It's a lot more versatile in my opinion. And the adjustment lever, it's plastic, so it's not going to rattle on your rail and on your kit and stuff. And the adjustment's quite smooth on it. So I like the Magpul MS4s. I changed out my Slate Industries slate grip for this Emissary Development Handbrake. And this handbrake, man, it is nice. It's very large. It barricades well. Comes in a cool color. It's got two screws, large screws, for your M-lock attachment. It's got nice texturing on it. It just feels really good. This is probably my favorite hand stop on the market. So they're a little more expensive than other hand stops, but I think they're well worth it. Went with the OD green because I was going with the OD green accent for this. So really happy with the Emissary Development handbrake. They don't they have a hard time keeping them in stock, so they're good. They're about 35 bucks. It's about what I find them for, 35, 40 bucks. They don't really go on sale, so that's about the price that you're going to pay for them. So they're about double the price of like a BCM CAG, which is still a really good hand stop. I really like that hand stop. This I do like a little bit more. The ergonomics for me just works well, and I think aesthetically it looks better. Not that that should matter, but it does, right? So magazine I go with Lancer mags now. Got this nice translucent green color. I know Big Daddy Unlimited sells these, but I did not buy them from Big Daddy Unlimited. I don't suggest buying anything from Big Daddy Unlimited. Not a good company to support. Gun Mag Warehouse also sells them. They're a little expensive. These were $15.99. Not the cheapest. Bought like 16 of these mags just because I like the color. What I do is I load a bunch of mags with a certain ammunition type for certain rifle setups that I zeroed. Obviously, it being OD green, I know this goes with some of my OD green accent builds, and I know they're zeroed for this ammunition, right? So, looks cool, and when you have color coordinated magazines, it does make it so like if you zero your weapon system for a certain ammunition type, you can just have a visual indicator, right, of when you're selecting a mag really quick, even though you should just be keeping a loaded mag in your home defense weapon, right? That you know what it is. Like when I have my plate carrier or my battle belt setups, I know the mags usually are going to distinguish what type of ammunition that I'm running out of it. Just works for me. You don't have to do it, but that's what I do, right? So, other things that I changed on this rifle setup. So, I changed out the optic system. I've changed out this optic system quite a bit. So I was running a red dot for a while. I ran, I forget what red dot system it was. I had backup irons on this at 1.2 because originally the ADM UIC Mod 2 uppers came with Magpul and Bus Pro. So I bought a set of Magpul and Bus Pros for this. I've started to shy away from backup irons. Not that I think that backup irons are bad. It's just I have degrading eyesight. I wear glasses or contacts most of the time, so backup irons aren't necessarily the best for me. So I just been switching over to red dots for my contingencies, for my backup sighting solutions, and that's worked well for me. So for a long time I was running the UTG offset red dot mount, and if I've got a whole video on offset red dot mounts. That UTG offset red dot mount worked just fine, and I was running a Hollow Sun 407 green on it. So I really like that setup. It was a little further away, like the cant on it was just a little bit more, like I had to move it a little bit further than I like. So I ended up going with this Arisaka offset mount instead of at a 35-degree angle instead of the 45. Bought a couple of different plates for it. This is a lower 1/3 plate. I also have a 193 plate. I was testing this optic setup, seeing if I could run a lower 1/3 mount with a 193 offset, because I thought getting a cheek weld for the offset wasn't going to be as natural as a chin weld. I was wrong. So I've got an extra 193 acro footprint plate. Is what it is. I wanted to try it. It was worth the $25 to me to do it. I don't suggest running different optic height setups for like your offset and your primary. So didn't really work for me. So just kept the lower 1/3 plate, and I wanted to go with an enclosed a closed optic for my red dot. Not that I ever had the 407 or the 507 fail on me, but I just have a little more confidence in an enclosed sight, right? So your dust, water, dirt, debris isn't going to get in the way of that emitter and make it so you can't see your red dot, or that it occludes that that laser somehow. So that's why I went with the Steiner MPS. I find these Steiner MPSs for like $400. So they're like right at or a little bit cheaper than Holosun 509s. The footprint is an acro footprint, and acro footprints are, to me, are getting more popular than 509s. I think 509s are kind of like, they're not going by the wayside. Enclosed pistol optics are definitely kind of like the hot thing right now. But I don't know. I think the acro footprint seems a little bit better than the 509. And the main gripe that I have about Steiner MPS optics is that I don't feel super confident in the screw for mounting it on a slide. So I'm not sure it's really designed to handle that slide reciprocating recoil on a pistol, right? So I slapped it on a I got it because it's lightweight, it's a small footprint, it's enclosed, it's relatively inexpensive. Like, it's not Aimpoint acro money, but it's still $400 for a backup red dot, right? And that's not even including the mount. So it's an expensive backup sighting system. Do I suggest doing it if you can afford it? Sure, but you could get away with like a $200 like Swamp Fox red dot and a UTG offset red dot mount, and it probably worked just fine. So that I ran a setup similar to that, and it did just fine for me. I just decided to upgrade a little more robust mounting solution and a little more robust micro red dot, more or less. So, and then as you can see, I've mounted it on my rail. Some people don't like mounting their optics on rails. The more I find out about the ADM UIC Mod 2 uppers and how they install everything together, the more I'm impressed with them. So what I have found out is that ADM drills out 2 holes in the upper receiver and the handguard, and then they pin in 2 steel dowel rods to keep the rail from rotating from the upper receiver, on top of already having like nice steel cross bolts, these nice hardy steel cross bolts on their handguard to their barrel nut setup, right? So I'm perfectly confident in this handguard not rotating and stuff. Might it rotate a degree? Sure, but for what I need the pistol optic or this offset red dot to do, it does just fine for even that. So if I have my LPVO turned up all the way to like 6 times magnification and I'm trying to find my target, I'll switch over to my offset red dot so I can have like a better field of view. That way when I rotate my my LPVO back, I should be basically in line with my target again if I need to do it that way. Also, if I'm engaging like a longer range, like 150, 200 yard target, and I need to come in closer at like 25, it's nice being able to transition to that micro pistol red dot sight. And if you're in 25 yards, you're in a degree or two on your handguard isn't really going to matter. You're still going to hit the, you know, a 5-inch target within 25 yards. So do you want to be more accurate? Absolutely, but it works just fine for me. All right, so I changed out my LPVO a few times on this. I've settled on this Vortex Viper PST Gen 2. These are probably some of the best bang LPVOs for the money. Like, I've sold some of my LPVOs, got rid of some, traded some, and I don't think I'll ever get rid of this. And then the reason is this is just a very good quality optic for the money. It's a little bit heavy. That's the main gripe that I have with these Vortex Viper PSTs. But the turrets are nice, right? The adjustments are nice on them. Not as nice as the Razor, but they click very nice. It's got nice solid detents in it. Let me return this to 0. And they're low profile. so they don't occlude my my offset red dot as much as like my Triconcreto. And I've tried my Triconcreto on this, and I like it on here, but it just the turrets stick out just a little bit more, and I just like having the low profile turrets. Reticle systems are very similar to my Triconcreto, exactly the same for my Vortex Razor. I'm liking these like a little more basic reticle systems. They work well for me. If I were engaging targets at longer distances, like 4, 5, 6, 700 yards, I probably want a little better reticle system. But for the VMR mil radian reticles for these Vortex Viper PST Gen 2s, they're really simple and they're good. They do have hash marks for slight wind and drop adjustments if you want them. And most BDCs that I've used, they're not actually accurate with what the BDC should be. So you're kind of learning the hash marks in general anyway. So having like a simpler hash mark system to me just works. It's not super busy. Um, I like it, right? Simplicity sometimes is a little bit better. So once I get a little bit better at longer distance shooting, I might upgrade. But I like second focal plane. I like the simple reticle. Some people might consider that a con. I like it. And the illumination on this is actually quite bright. It gets almost as bright as my Vortex Razor. The one thing I've noticed between this and the Vortex Razor is when the Vortex Razor is fully illuminated, like I can see the illumination running up and down on that fiber, or on that extra reticle, right? So with this, it doesn't have that bleed out like it does on the Vortex Razor for whatever reason. So it's just basically a dot, and it does get bright. Doesn't get as bright as the Razor, but it gets very, very bright. A little bit heavier, like I said, and it doesn't come with the throw lever, which I think they should, right? You don't have to get the Vortex one. It's about a $50 or $60 up cost, but it is what it is. I decided to buy the Vortex version. Some people have issues with them. I haven't had one. If I do, I'll probably end up going with the polymer one later down the road. But the polymer ones are a little bulkier, right? This is a little more slimlined. At least the throw lever is and stuff. So, yeah. So I thought about changing out the mount, but I have been nothing but impressed with this Warren mount. I've had this mount on basically since the second optic setup that I had on this. And for the money, these Warren mounts are really good. I buy these Warren mounts or I bought this particular Warren mount for, I want to say it was like $87 shipped to my door and stuff. And this is one of the few mounts that I found in OD Green. And not to say that you should buy accessories based on color, but from what I was looking at online through reviews, GunTubers, AR15.com, Reddit, stuff like that, people were really impressed with the quality of Warren mounts, at least for the money. Like, they're not Scalar Works or Bobro or Spur or anything like that, but they're good quality mounts for the money. A sub $100 mount on sale, and they come in a lot of different flavors. So that's why I went with it, and I've stuck with it. This is a lower 1/3 height, and I like it. So I don't think I'm ever going to change the mount out. If I did, I'd change it out for an ADM mount that was colorized in green too. But that's just because I like the accents. I like the OD green accents on this. It just adds a little bit of flair to my weapon system. If I can do it and keep everything reliable, great. And some people might argue putting like this colored magazine catch, this magazine release button, even like the safety selector. It's not needed by any means, but they're upgrades that I chose to do. Some people consider them a little cringe to put anodized colored parts on your ARs, but I like it, right? That's all that really matters. Everyone that I've run into, for the most part, seems to think it looks good, right? So not that I'm looking to try to impress other people, but it's always nice when people are like, "Hey, man, like your rifle looks cool," right? So I think it looks cool. I like being able to visually tell a difference between my rifle setups and the applications that they do. So I keep basically most of like my 16 inches a certain color. Like I'll color coordinate my weapon setups, right? That way, if I'm ever in a pinch, not that I couldn't just look over and know what my weapon systems are, because I know exactly where they are anyway. It's my stupid thinking, right? I think it works for me. Probably don't really need it or anything. So, but another upgrade that I did to this is I put a Sharps Rifle Company bolt in here, and I made sure it was headspace and everything, and got my Sharps Rifle Company bolt for my Radium build back there. But this isn't my first Sharps Rifle Company bolt. As you can see, I've got a couple here. I've got a couple of other packages in their old packaging before they came in these tubes and stuff. I like Sharps Rifle Company bolts. I've tried out a lot of different other bolts. Magnesium phosphate chrome line bolts work. A little bit harder to clean, especially on the carrier portion. After prolonged periods of use, sometimes I've had to soak my carriers in CLP if I'm doing like 500 rounds in a day, shooting back to back, stuff like that. Whereas like DLC or even nitride bolts, they clean up a lot better. NIBX nickel boron bolts work pretty well. I've shot a suppressed CAC sand cutter bolt, which seems to like be really nice, but I don't know if I'd ever be able to find one. H&M bolts I've tried that have like a different cam pin system in it, a little more robust cam pin system in it. Psionics, I've tried a Psionics bolt. I've tried a BCM bolt. I've tried a lot of different quality bolts. I've got a Geisley enhanced bolt carrier group. I've got a Daniel Defense bolt carrier group. I've even done just fine with Toolcraft bolt carrier groups, Microbest bolt carrier groups. Bear Creek Arsenal bolt carrier groups have been just fine for me. Their extractors aren't the greatest, but their bolts and bolt heads seem to run okay, right? So did I need a fancy Sharps Rifle Company bolt? I didn't, but I did it, right? And it works. I've run this hard. It hasn't failed on me yet. I took like last time I ran this carbine hard, I took like 10 mags out and I just dumped 10 mags through this. And the only reason I did that is I wanted to see if I could get through 10 mags basically back to back to back without any failures. And it ran 300 rounds without any failures. Just fine with this bolt and stuff. So I changed the bolt out. I changed the buffer system out. And if you ever do something like that, you always want to test it. So this particular bolt carrier group is the XPB DLC one. It's actually the lightweight one too. So that's the main reason why I wanted to try it out. It's got some extra cutouts in the actual carrier in here and stuff. I think it's like an ounce lighter than their XPB one, which is like a ½ ounce lighter than a mil-spec one. And then I was running an H2, Geisley Super 42 in this, and changed it to an H1. And the recoil impulse has just been smooth, real smooth in this. So I've got this set up how I like it. You don't have to do all that. I could probably just kept the H2 and the mil-spec bolt in here, and it probably would have worked just the same. But when I got the dust cover open, you can see the SRC on there, and it just cleans up better. That's my main thing. It cleans up so easy, so nice. Especially if I want to put off the cleaning for a day or two, I can come back to it. I'm not going to be the carbon's not going to be super baked on there after leaving it in there for a day. So that's my main reasoning behind the Sharps Rifle Company bolts. It's just the DLC cleans off super nice. Made out S7 tool steel. Some people have problems with the extractors. I haven't had any problems with the extractors yet or anything. So, but that's basically the different upgrades that I did to this. Through the That's different from my other videos that I've posted on this. So optic setup, flashlight, and the bolt. All three really good upgrades to do to your weapon system. So I've been really happy with this ADM UIC Mod 2. Would I buy this again? Abso-freaking-lutely. This is like one of my two favorite carbines right now. So been really happy with the ADM UIC Mod 2. I probably would have gone with like the 13.9 core series, like the Captain Quint, just because this is a heavy weapon system with a loaded magazine. This weighs over 11 pounds, so it's heavy. It's a heavy weapon system, and just as you see it now, and with the sling, I think it's like 11 pounds 4 ounces. With an empty mag, it's like 10 pounds 4 ounces or 5 ounces, something like that. So what I've noticed is if you fully kit out a weapon system, you're looking at unless you purposely choose like trying to find lighter stuff like red dots and maybe a smaller flashlight system, lighter weight stock, something like that, right? You're basically going to be at the 8, 9, 10 pound mark for most of your carbine builds. I've been able to get my 12.5 down to a like 7.5 ounce or 7 pound 8 ounce build with like fully kitted out flashlight, everything. But I purposely had to build it that way. And then I've got like my Aero Precision 16-inch GPR build. I've got that at like, I think 8 pounds 9 ounces, and I've got like an ultralight mount, a TR24, a lightweight rail, no forward assist, you know what I mean, like aluminum furniture as far as like, you know, magazine catch and castle nut, just saving a little bit of weight in ways that I could, just to get it down to like that 8 pound mark, you know what I mean? So, and that's a full 16-inch build, and that was purposely built and driven to be that way. So building out a full rifle system, you're going to look at like a 9-pound rifle if you fully kit it out. So, and that's not with lasers or other things either. So just remember that if you're not running like an 8-pound rifle or more, I'm not going to say you need more stuff on it, because you don't. A lot of people can get away with just running a red dot on top of just a basic rifle, and they run it well. So I'm not going to say that, but if you want like a decent flashlight setup, if you're running like a suppressor mount, if you're running like not like a car 15 stock and stuff, yeah, it's going to get heavy once you start adding all that stuff up. So I have found with this profile barrel, it's a little more front heavy than some of my other carbine builds. So my my left arm gets a little tired sometimes, because, you know, I'm basically holding up, especially moving, I'm usually holding up this entire rifle system with my left arm. So I'm right-handed, so I'm, you know, unless I got it sling down and stuff, you know, it gets heavy. It gets heavy over time. You start to feel a 10-pound, 11-pound rifle a little bit more than like a 7-pound. But anyway, this video is getting pretty long, enough how it is. I'm pretty much turned into the modern day nut and fancy, I guess. But yeah, I kind of want to do an update on my ADM UIC Mod 3, because this might be the final form, guys. I don't know. We'll see in about a year when I do another update video on it. So, but if you enjoy this, I appreciate it. I'm never going to beg for likes or comments or anything like that, but I always appreciate them. I appreciate all the subscribers out there. Everybody who comments, I see a lot of the same people commenting in my videos. You always add to the conversation. Really appreciate it. And if you're new to this channel, and if there's anything you ever want me to cover, I don't know. I'm probably willing, like if it fits within my budget to try out something. If you want, if you just want to see someone's input on it, I don't really care. If you want to see me go over like a certain part more in depth, let me know. I'll do a video on it. I don't have any problem doing that. So I don't know exactly what people want to see. I basically make videos how I would want somebody else to make videos. If that makes sense, right? So I like long form formats. I like one takes. I don't like editing and stuff. To me, when somebody starts to focus more on production value and video quality and stuff like that, then their actual like they're more concerned about looking cool and making sure all their shots are on target, shit like that, than actually putting their actual thoughts into the product. And then on top of that, you know, with the production values, like manufacturers and retailers want to support that because it draws in views and clicks, and you know, so they start sending them free products. And then who doesn't want free products, right? Who wants to burn that relationship? So you're going to say good things about that person or about that manufacturer or about that product because they're sending you free stuff. You don't want to screw that up because this is your bread and butter. This will never be my bread and butter. I will never make money off of YouTube. I will never be monetized. I will never accept free product from people. The only thing I might accept is free ammunition. I'd love some free ammunition. That's about the only thing that I might accept. So take that for what you will. I don't entirely trust the gun industry, but on just real quick, saying all that, right? Most of the stuff that YouTubers talk about, it's pretty good. Like if it comes from a reputable manufacturer, it's not like super cheap. It's usually pretty good. But if it's like a new system, like let's say Springfield Prodigy, what's this like 2011 or 2311 that they released at SHOT Show? Wait like a year, right, after it's released so they can work out all the kinks. Get the Generation 2. But I think the Springfield Prodigy will be a good weapon system down the road. A lot of people were pushing that, where like people were having, I think, issues with like, what was it, the 4.5 or 5 inch version of it. Let them work out their kinks and stuff, right? So sometimes these gun tubers, they do push stuff that probably isn't necessarily as good as they say it is. This is still probably a good weapon platform or a good product, probably, but it's probably not as good as they say it is. Like I know people personally that have sold their Springfield Prodigies because they had issues, and I was interested in one, and I almost bought one of theirs, but I didn't want to have the issues that they did. Right? I'm not knowledgeable in the 192311 platform. I do not know how to hand fit parts. That's something that I'm not comfortable doing yet. I'll probably get into 2311s down the road and learn how to do all that stuff. But I just started really understanding the AR-15 and Glock platform, right? I just started taking apart my SIGs. I just started getting comfortable taking apart some of my HKs. You know what I mean? So that's just another thing that I'm not trying to learn right now. I'm going to more or less focus on a few systems, and once I feel like I've mastered that enough, then I'll move on to something else. And that's the whole process of this. It's don't stay stagnant in where you are. And that includes everything: your job, your family life. If you want to improve your family life, have a plan, right? And learn what other people are doing that have good family lives. If you want to improve the money that you make, look at better jobs, or look at something that you might enjoy doing so you never work a day in your life. That's what I'm choosing to do. I'm looking to get into making firearms, or getting into like some sort of production with firearm parts. So I've started to look at companies like Faxon, American Defense Manufacturing, Type A, Titusville's not all that far away. I'd love to get on at CAC, but I don't think CAC's hiring. So, you know, I'm probably going to get into the firearms industry, and it's not because I like the military industrial complex. I feel like it's corrupt as hell, but it's never going to go away. So I'm here to stay as far as firearms go, and if I can't beat them, I might as well join them. It's nothing like if shit does go down, being able to have access to basically all the mil spec parts that your heart can desire would be probably pretty sweet in my opinion. Plus, I just enjoy this, right? If I could start making this stuff, would I enjoy it less? I don't know. I think I just enjoy the job, and then whatever amount that I'm making, it's going to seem a lot less like work. Like it's not like I dislike the work that I do, but it's not like I look forward to it every day. I want to look forward to my job every day. And my point to all that was, if like you want to get better at anything, have a plan and learn more about it. Get more time behind it. That includes shooting and stuff, right? If you want to get better at shooting, uh, get buy the ammunition. That's the main thing. Buy the ammunition. Be willing to shoot it. There you go. That's your first step. Once you get over that hurdle, start to get into training classes, right? And then that's a big step right there. Getting over that hump and to in training class. So that's why I encourage people to get out there and shoot first. That way, you know you're how reliable your weapon system is, but it just gets you more familiar with shooting weapons, right? You don't want to look like a dumbass going to a a carbine class or something, right? So just get out there and just do it, right? Don't be afraid. Don't think what don't care what other people think of you. Just don't make a fool of yourself. And don't be unsafe, right? And if you do make a fool of yourself, it's okay. Just don't do it again. Learn from it, right? So, all right. I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for watching, and join me next time.